All right. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Not Your Average PD, Building Student Resilience Through Fables. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. My name is Carrie Horton. I'm the program manager for the Kenan Fellows Program for Teacher Leadership. We are a nonprofit organization based out of NC State University in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we've been investing in educators across the state of North Carolina for 25 years. We now have over 600 alumni who are amazing educators with a multitude of talents. And Not Your Average PD is just one way that we tap into this amazing talent to bring professional development to educators by educators. So if you want to learn more about our programming, you can visit our website at www.kenanfellows.org, and I'm posting that in the chat right here. Maybe. There we go. Tonight, we have an amazing Kenan Fellow alumni, Rob Condie. Rob is a 24-25 Kenan Fellow and a middle school English language arts teacher in Carteret County, North Carolina. During his fellowship, Rob partnered with North Carolina State and Duke University Marine Lab to write a curriculum aligned with North Carolina Common Core standards. He enjoys working with all teachers and content areas, and this work is what Rob's going to share with all of us tonight. So I'm lucky to call him a colleague and a friend, and we're honored that he is here with us tonight to share his expertise. So welcome, Rob. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Carrie. Hi, welcome all. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Again, my name's Rob Condie. I teach at Carteret County Schools, Broad Creek Middle School, 8th grade specifically, English Language Arts, and I'm a 2024-2025 Kenan Fellow. And a couple thank yous. Thank you for Kenan for facilitating this. This is a wonderful opportunity for us all. Paul and Eric, thank you so much for your amazing PD sessions and leading the future in teaching. My mentors at NC State and Duke University Marine Labs. My fellow fellows, Betsy and Ann, thank you so much for all your support throughout this fellowship. And all of you for doing what you do for all of our students here in North Carolina. Thank you so much. This is my professional development for Not Your Average Professional Development. This is our Ready Set Resilience program, building ecological, community, and personal resilience through nature stories. And this is an interdisciplinary resilience curriculum by, with, and for teachers, kids, and communities. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to meet the team. We're going to talk about how we got here. We're going to take a look at our curriculum in action. How might you use this in your classroom? And how we can keep in touch and share ideas as we develop and grow as educators together. So the first thing I would like to do today, I would like to engage you in a very short activity. We've created an activity book out of our curriculum in Fables, and it's a wonderful product here. And a little background and context before we get involved in the activity. This activity book was co-created by teachers, environmental education researchers, resilience professionals, and ecological resilience practitioners. We work together on this booklet as a part of a curriculum that connects personal, ecological, and community resilience. While it was designed with middle school students in mind, the information and activities can be adapted for any age. The goal of this booklet and the accompanying curriculum, which we will unpack here shortly, is to support the classroom teachers in the important work that they already do in hopes of creating more resilience for young people. So this is really to activate and implement the things we're learning within the classroom in periodical brain breaks for your students. And this activity is called Looking Near and Far. So I invite you to join me within this activity. This activity helps students practice the resilience root of self-awareness, in which students identify and name or notice and name what they need in the current moment. Students can help this type of self-reflection by using orientation. Orientation is a technique that helps one body focus outside of itself and give one's internal experience time to rest. In this orientation activity, students move their sight between near and far focal points. This alternating focal point practice helps students to learn how to reflect on their emotions, physical sensations, and surroundings. So here are the directions for this activity, and I invite you to join me. Remind students to complete this activity silently without speaking. Have students sit or stand comfortably and focus their sight on something as close to them as possible. This is their near focal point, and it can be something on their clothes, their desk, etc. So once the students have focused on the thing near, we're going to have them continue to look at this focal point for 15 seconds and really focus on that one thing that is near them. So we're going to do that for about 10 to 15 seconds now. Okay, now have the students focus on something far away, far as humanly possible. This is their far focal point, and it can be something across the room, outside the window, or on the horizon. Once they are focused on that far point, have them continue to look at this focal point for about 15 seconds. So we're looking way out in the distance and focusing on that one thing. Doing that for about 10 seconds. Excellent. So we have some follow-up questions for this activity. What did you notice in your body when you were looking far? Did one focal point feel better than another? Refer to the mood meter chart that we've created, where we created different quadrants of emotional aptitude words with intensities. How does your body feel throughout these different rounds? Any changes? So you can cycle through these a couple times and see if there was anything different with those patterns of looking near and far. What sensations and emotions did you notice? Did your thoughts slow down? Did they speed up? How was your breathing? Right? Did you breathe really deep or very shallow? Did you notice yourself smiling or frowning? And this way we can really promote that self-awareness. This exercise outdoors is very effective. If you're anywhere within an environment, this is really easy to do. If you take your kiddos outside real quick for a quick brain break, this is great for that moment. Yeah, and this exercise helps during transitions or when you need to discharge energy in a classroom. And this activity also helps students understand what their body is feeling, that self-awareness. So thank you for joining me in that activity. All right. Now let's talk about how we got here. Oh, let's meet the team first. I'm sorry. Again, I'm Rob, and these are my fellows, Betsy and Ann. We worked together this summer creating this curriculum for you with Duke University Marine Labs and NC State's EE department, and a plethora of Carteret County Public Schools and Durham Public Schools teachers and educators. So we really got together and had a meeting of the minds to develop this curriculum we're going to be talking to you today about. Dr. Liz DeMattia and Rory McCollum were awesome mentors for us at the Duke University Marine Labs, and such a pleasure to work with. Catherine Stevenson really championed us from NC State and helped design this curriculum and support us together with feedback from our students and our community. Dr. Patrick Dress, the resilience solution, is the one that helped us with these trauma-based therapy exercises like the one we just did a second ago. And then we have Kelsey Tane and Casey Bush helping us collect all this information and synthesizing it through a sociology department, and really paying attention to how we're affecting educators, students, and our community at large. And as you can see on the bottom of this slide here, we have so many integral parts and pieces to this program. It's very large. I'm just a little tiny bit of a really big program together, where we are working with Carteret County Schools, the Sea Grant Foundation, Duke University Marine Labs Science Community Initiative, the Resilient Solution, NC State, and the Nicholas School of the Environment. It's quite a large movement of people that we're banding together and being a team to ensure our students' success and our community resilience. So how did we get here? This is a page set up by Duke University Community Science Initiative and the Marine Lab. And this is our Ready, Set, Resilience page, giving a little timeline to how this started in the first place. Ecological resilience is the ability to adapt or recover from a disturbance in an environment that disrupts how life usually operates. That's how we're defining resilience. And this is a timeline or a program that starts in 2018 with Hurricane Florence. Carteret County Schools had 10 days without power following Hurricane Florence. The Carteret County public school system was closed for 2 weeks, and all after-school activities were canceled. Some schools were turned into shelters. Some damaged homes took months to repair, and over 80 displaced families have still not returned to Carteret County yet. I love this quote here from Dr. Liz. Every day going to school, you pass by houses where the entire contents of the house were on the road from mold and rain damage. And those were people you worked with, or people you went to school with, or people you grew up with, really. They were a part of your community. That's very impactful to see the people you directly are engaged with every day within your community really struggling and trying to stay afloat from these hardships and trials and tribulations. Next, we had 2019 Hurricane Dorian, which made landfall in Ocracoke, causing water damage in Carteret County and adding to the community's generalized hurricane anxiety. And this quote is from my friend Betsy here. I didn't realize until Dorian the anxiety I was experiencing. This was left over from Florence. Like, what's going to happen? Are all these homes going to be destroyed again? Very true. Unfortunately, my home was one of those homes. We were living in a townhouse and our neighbor's house collapsed. The whole ceiling caved in due to rain damage. It was very traumatic, a very traumatic experience. Next, we didn't have a hurricane in 2020, but we had something quite large we were dealing with the rest of the world. We had the COVID-19 pandemic. So this was just boom, 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 three strikes, you're out. These were tough times for us and the world. Dr. Liz was working with the community science team with the Boys and Girls Club, and she asked, hey, would you like some, STEM program outreach activities? And they were like, no, we need help. We need mentors to help our kids. Their lives have been so disrupted by these two direct hurricanes and this pandemic. We need something to help them be more resilient. And this is where the idea really started for Ready, Set, Resilience. Curriculum work began, students began engaging on this project and learning from each other and learning from nature ultimately. How is nature resilient? And how can we emulate and emote that and promote that kind of resilience within a classroom? So this really started with a workbook with certain activities contributing from the resilience solution and Dr. Jess and Dr. Liz, and they got together and started engaging these students in these resilience little mini lessons that turned into Fables and Tales of Resilience. The team explored different ways to engage with these students and create these fables. And we got the Sea Grant and Duke Office of Durham to help invest in funding with our project. And this is where the fables begin to come out of the grad students at the Duke Engage project. And they were brilliant, absolutely life-changing stories. I am in the business of stories. I'm a sucker for a great story, and all these are excellent stories, and they are collected here in the Bend in the Wind book that has been published recently that our curriculum work is based off of. These are inspirational tales of resilience, and we're learning how to take these lessons and develop them and turn them into a more solidified curriculum for educators and teachers like yourself. So we really pulled together quarterly with different facets and different groups of Carteret County schools and Durham public schools, and working together with specialists to try and design this curriculum that we get to share with you today. It's been a passion project and a constantly evolving program. And we've really bonded together and become stronger as a community and kind of like a teaching family together, and really reaching these students and healing our community through these tough times, showing them that if nature can survive this and come out so beautiful like the Crystal Coast of North Carolina, maybe we can too. Brilliant presentations have been created out of these different lessons. This is one of Betsy's groups right here, putting on a presentation of Ollie the Orca, which I will show you a little bit of here in a second. It is so adorable and so precious. And to see these students take these lessons and just run with them and be creative is a really special opportunity. So we are still constantly meeting, growing together, learning different ways to tell these stories and fables of resilience, and interactive ways to share these stories with our students and grow, care, create, and connect as a community once again, and be stronger collectively as a pack. We're going to talk a little bit about the different kind of phases of application that ready, set, resilience can be in your community, in your classroom. It can be as small as just sharing a wonderful story or a wonderful tale of resilience, or it could be as big as a community event. And we can talk about what all those different things look like and how it can be most appropriate for your community and your environment and region. Mentorships, huge opportunities for our students at the high school level to come talk to our middle school students, our middle school students talk to our elementary students, and vice versa. All these different ways to sharing different developments and growths and how we can best support each other collectively as a whole. We really try to facilitate those learning moments for all of our kiddos and students, and we're developing more and more. We have more fables. We are working in different departments of writing, reading, poetry, and puppetry. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. That's one of my favorites personally. This has been one of the most rewarding experiences I've had as an educator. I've been teaching in education for 15 years, and this has reignited my flame and passion for teaching. And it's been such a wonderful, transformative experience for myself. And can't wait to share more with you right here. All right. Again, this is a little kind of just web of our timeline. It feels very ebb and flow and kind of arbitrary at some moments, but it's very organic. We did not force this curriculum on our teachers, our students. We planted the seed and let it grow naturally and organically to reach us at the right time and have it align perfectly with what we're doing and really sending that message home to let it happen naturally. So about the curriculum. So this first level here really shows the fables and the origins of where this started and where this began. We have different scenarios here like Gilbert the Grouper, Ollie the Orca, Terry the Tree, and I'll be sharing with you today the live oak and the wind. Then we have the activities like the one you just experienced and what we just talked about. We have a third level of the curriculum where we have graphic organizers and certain framework model graphic organizers that help develop and have students produce their own work in Tales of Resilience. I'll show you a little bit about that. That's what I was working with this summer with the Duke University Merlin Lab. And the community event, the big pie in the sky moment. How far do you want to take it? How much can you share with others? And what would be best for your community to hear from you? So this is all based in our roots of resilience, mental agility, connection, self-awareness, self-regulation, and optimism. These are the seeds that grow all of our greatness together and make us more resistant collectively. And here's a little more illustrated version of that for you. We have everything rooted in the fables and the tales of resilience and what we're learning from nature, how we grow that resilience to facilitate our activities and collectiveness together within our classroom. We have different designs for production, like writing poetry or stories, and then how we can share those tales of resilience with our community and really take pride in the student celebration of what they've accomplished as a group. Here's some of those products here that I was talking about. We have the Bend in the Wind, the collection of nature fails. These are excellent lessons for the classroom to bring at any time where we just need a brain break or a team building activity to come together. We have the activity booklet to accompany this literature here that is so fun to do. I do it daily. I love it. It's so easy to do once you get in the rhythm. The kids really look for them too. And we'll do a couple more of them within this Not Your Average Professional Development session. And again, this can be, a bulletin board, stop motion animation, story walks, or if you want to take it all the way to PBS, the sky's the limit. You can really do anything that you feel comfortable with sharing with your community and the ambition of your students and what they want to accomplish. So I have a fable for you today written by Rory McCollum. This is the live oak in the wind, and we have a PDF version for you if you'd like to follow along. I also have a graphic organizer for you to consider. of a plot diagram. Those things are so hard to find. We designed a really fun one, and we have one filled out for you to follow along and reference a little later on for a writing activity that I have for you. But if you would like to look at your circle of connections, we have this wonderful activity here. And this is an activity designed to help us be more aware of the networks that we are involved in and the connections we already have with others. So we're going to think about where we are within our circle of connectedness and who's immediately outside of our circles. Who can we count on at times of need, right? And then who is outside of that circle? Like, who's our secondary circle of support? And maybe a third tier, like being the community. And I have a adapted version for you here that I can put in the chat. There we go. So my circle of connections is me, my wife Shelly, my mom and dad, my grandmother and brother. And then outside of that circle, in parentheses, I have, best friends, and then Kenan Fellows, mentors, colleagues at my school, and then students, right? And then my community ultimately. So I'm thinking about who I can work with immediately to best serve my community and be my personal best self and share that best with others. So if you guys want to work on that activity and maybe put your circle of connections within the chat, or just follow along and look at the plot diagram I provided you with, this will be a fun activity for us to consider as we're listening to Tales of Resilience. All right. Again, this is The Live Oak in the Wind, written by Rory McCullum. Have you ever wondered why live oaks are just shaped so? Well, many years ago on the coastline, much like you would see here in North Carolina, there was a live oak forest. In this live oak forest, there was a curious little sapling called Quint. Quint was eager to learn and always wanted to hear about the rest of the world from the migratory birds that passed through. One bird told her about the monumental redwoods in California that grew over 200 feet tall with trunks 30 feet wide. Another told Quint of the loblolly pines, which were also tall and straight, but very skinny. Another still told her of the giant cypress trees that grew out of the water. As she heard these stories, Quinn looked up at her own family and noticed something. All the elder live oaks were short and had gnarled trunks and twisting branches. She became curious and asked her relatives, "Why are we shaped so differently?" An older tree responded, "We grow like this way because it helps us thrive here on the coast. We can stay strong when things get tough. Most importantly, we can survive the hurricanes." As they said this, the older trees seemed to sway in agreement. Even though Quinn didn't quite understand what a hurricane was and wanted to ask more questions, she nodded along as well. A timid gray squirrel named Cy, who lived on one of the quince branches, told her, "A hurricane is the scariest thing in the world. We animals have to run and hide on higher grounds. The wind and water try to destroy everything, and I'm always on the lookout. There could be one any day." Cy's approach seemed a little extreme to Quint. In her daily life, Quint only expected two things. First, she felt the wind constant yet variable. Some days it was strong, and other days it was calm, but it always felt present. The second thing was that all the critters used the oaks for shelter, scurrying up and down their branches as they made their nest. Although Cy was a particularly nervous squirrel, he was one of her favorite residents. Each day, as the wind pushed and pulled, Quint listened to Cy chatter about all the bad things that could happen. And each day, Quint was changing, even though she couldn't see it herself. Some days were exhausting, some were invigorating, but most days were simply normal. No matter what the previous day brought, Quint got up at sunrise, ready to do it all again. She spent most of her time talking with other trees, growing leaves and branches, and caring for the animals who made their homes in her canopy. Even then, in the back of her mind, she was waiting to be tested. She wanted to know if her twisted trunk and branches could withstand a hurricane, whatever that was. In the summer, Quint worked hard to photosynthesize and make a happy home for her friends. In the winter, she rested. Many years passed without much adversity, and Quint was content. One day, a cormorant suddenly appeared on the shore, clearly exhausted from a long flight. He sputtered out one word, "Hurricane!" As that word escaped his beak, the world all around the trees exploded with noise. All the birds and squirrels took off as quickly as they could to where the trees were never sure. The oaks, with their deep roots and heavy bodies, couldn't run away. Quinn was afraid. She looked to her relatives for comfort, and the older trees reassured her. This isn't the first storm they had endured, and it certainly wouldn't be the last. One especially gnarled and ancient tree shared a story about the first major storm they ever encountered. At the end, they said, "This is the most important thing to remember, Quint." And they looked down at her lovingly. Is that when you find yourself in a situation that seems impossible to weather alone, know that we all are here to help you. Reach out your roots and hold on to us, and we will come through this together. Quint did as they suggested, and she felt her family weaving their roots with hers. She felt an overwhelming sense of hope. Although she still didn't know exactly when or how hard the hurricane would hit, she did know that her family would be there for her through it all. The wind continued to pick up as the animals fled. It was unrelenting as it pushed, pulled, yanked, and punched the trees. Quint and her family bent and stretched, but never broke. Under the ground, she felt her roots intertwine with those of her family, sharing their strength. Even when the water crashed up on the land, sweeping around the trunks, the stout and twisted shape of the trees allowed the water to wash around them just as the wind did, without breaking them. They all lost many leaves and small branches, and at times Quint felt like she wanted to give up. Each time she felt that way, she dug her roots even deeper and held onto her family even tighter. In those moments, she also reminded herself, I am built for this. With my family beside me, I can do anything. It was an exhausting experience, one that felt like it would never end, but it did, as all things do. Eventually, the wind died down, the water receded, and slowly the animals returned. As they returned, Quint was always looking for her nervous little friend. Eventually, Cy appeared slightly bedaggered, but not too much worse for wear. He told her all about the tall, straight trees that have broken or have been torn up from the ground under the force of the wind. In that moment, for the first time, Quint truly appreciated the importance of the daily wind, their gnarled trunks, and their intertwining roots. After the hurricane, Quinn understood what her elders had been trying to explain to her. The ability to lean on her family's strength and keep her grounded was just as important as the twist in her branches and leaves. A hurricane is a hard and often sad thing. They all agreed on that, but each one also better prepares you for what you could endure next. Quint realized a tree can always rebuild. She could grow new leaves and new branches, and she will know how to grow them better and stronger next time. Many years and a couple of hurricanes later, a new young sapling sprouted. As he was taking in the world and the older trees, he asked Quint the same question she had asked so many years ago. Why are we shaped so differently? Can you guess what she said? Quint told him these knotted branches and twisted trunks represent the small challenges, the one you take on every day and every week. They all prepare you for the big ones. The young trees still seemed confused, so she continued, how you handle daily dilemmas matters. If you allow yourself to be strengthened by each obstacle instead of destroyed, you too can learn how to bend without breaking. If you can do that and remember to rely on all of us, the trees who care about you, even when things are darkest, we can find a way to get through this together. Quint and her newest sapling remembered that conversation for a long time. As they matured, they let the wind shape them and reach, plunged their roots deeper and wider. Day by day, Quint and the little sapling learned a little more about how to bend and not to break. The end. So, Rory was really talking to us about perseverance, right? And self-awareness, self-regulation, the connections within the family, right? And optimism. All those key components and pillars of our program are evident here. And it's very inspirational. So thank you so much, Roy, for sharing that with us. I'd like to try a writing activity with you. Let's see. Okay, our reading with resilience here. Oh, of course. There we go. All right, so resiliency and poetry. I'd like to try a sequin with you. And let's get an example. All righty. This lesson gives students the opportunity to connect any content level to poetry. This activity strengthens summative skills and serves as a creative outlet for our students so that they can synthesize this information and present it back to us, what they've learned and how they'd like to express themselves. A sequin poem is a 5-line poem with 22 syllables in the order 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2. Due to its short format, a sequin poem helps students narrow in on essential details of an event or concept while allowing them space for creative expression. An example of a sequin poem is provided below. The following sequin poem, written by Christina Quattrone, is based on the fable The Live Oak in the Wind. The oak asked the wind why, until the storm taught her a twisted trunk signifies strength. Dig deep. Love it. Perfect. And it takes the lessons of resilience, right? And connections and self-awareness and allows us to promote that idea within our classroom. Carrie has posted one of my sequins pertaining to this fable of resilience. I have live oak, twisted steadfast, bending where fierce winds push, rooted deep in strength of its kin, endures. So if you like to take 2 or 3 minutes to think about that and put that in the chat as we go along through our presentation today, we would love to hear your sequin. If you feel inspired to provide us with one, we'd love to hear it. And as you're working on that, I'd be more than happy to move on here and tell you a little bit how I use this program at my school, Broad Creek Middle School. So I've been working with our science department and English department, and we've been cooperatively structuring classes together about once or twice a month, sharing these tales of resilience with our students and have them listen and really think about and make the connections between our pillars of resilience, self-awareness, self-regulation, optimism, connections, right? And self-awareness and perseverance. And we take those lessons and we incorporate them and promote them within these fables and have them listen and consider them. And we start every school year with the circle of connections and what kind of network do we have and what our needs are and what do we have to offer our community as well. So we work through that together. And then I help build their stories of resilience with partners between the science and ELA department. I actually structured a curriculum to design lessons and fables of resilience that they can write a protagonist, antagonist, in a nature situation of ecosystems, taking what they're learning within their science classrooms and presenting that within the ELA department, allowing them to perform together collectively and really make those interdisciplinary connections of what fables are, why do we use them, and the power and importance of storytelling. After writing and designing their fables, I had them illustrate them and then show on a movie poster their protagonists, antagonists, and their ecosystem where they inhabit and how they are changing and developing as characters. And then we had them record their fables. And we created a Spotify podcast for our students to share their stories of resilience with their voice and really to let them be heard as students. Then we had some finalists. Duke helped us pick our top 5. They actually picked their top 6. They couldn't limit them. And we had them showcased on their Seize the Day podcast at Duke University Marine Labs. And this is some examples of our student work here. Snowball's Christmas Chaos is a wild ride. That one's a lot of fun. And then we took our students to an unlearning conference at PBS and the Durham Museum of Life and Science with Duke. And we got to showcase and talk to students in Durham about what a hurricane is like. And this is before, unfortunately, our friends in Western Carolina experienced something very similar to what we have seasonally here at the coast. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But we were very proud of our students. They were beaming. They had a standing ovation there at PBS, and we were greatly accepted and shared and got to learn from our partners in Durham. All right, here's a good chance to do another activity. And this is called managing a moment. And I'm gonna just share a little context with you real here. This activity helps students practice the resilience root of self-regulation by managing emotions and elevating curiosity with a sense of other than sight. It reminds students that there are multiple ways of understanding and experience the extrinsic environment. This activity can also teach us how to manage a moment by decreasing sensory input and reducing the intensity of information coming at us. This is done by taking one of our five senses offline by closing our eyes. So we're going to need to close our eyes for this one, okay? Have students massage their ears, and this massaging will physically warm up the ears and prepare them for listening. We're going to do that for about 20 seconds. So just rub your ears, stimulate your ears, and try and do this while closing your eyes. The recommended time is about 20 seconds, but we'll do a little shorter now because we're on a time limit. All right, after your students do that, ask them what they heard and the other follow-up questions that we have below. So we're asking them, what do they hear after stimulating and rubbing their ears? About 10-second think time. All right, and the directions ask us to repeat this and increase the stimulation to about 40 seconds and 50 seconds. So you keep adding that stimuli and focusing on that meditative state of taking off one of your senses offline and increasing the other sense of hearing. So we're going to ask students, what did you hear? What did you observe? How did your body feel when you heard a sound? How are you reacting to that stimuli? What sensations and emotions did you notice? Did your thoughts slow down or speed up? Much like before, think about the breathing. Think about your heart rate. Think about how you're adapting to your environment and finding a new way to see it differently. This exercise is useful when students are stuck, overwhelmed, if they're getting frustrated. It helps students kind of recenter or manage and allows them to not invest as much as worry as self-regulation and self-awareness, really owning that moment and finding a new center within their environment. Well, thank you for joining me with that activity. And we're going to talk a little bit more about our flexible curriculum that provides opportunities for collaboration and fosters the imagination. That's really what this is about. It's inspiring ourselves and our students really to dream big and find their ways within their environment. Oh gosh, we hear thunder outside. We hear a lot of air conditioning is going on right now. I got mine cranked right now. Yeah, that humidity is coming. That North Carolina humidity is coming. All right. Resilience in writing. So I have developed this curriculum for expressive writing. And it is a little extensive, but it's a 4-day lesson. And it really showcases what we learned through the first kind of phases of reading the fables, expressing ourselves within our fables, and having immersive experiences within that. My apologies. Here we go. My computer needs to wake up. There we go. These are tied directly to the North Carolina Common Core standards, and we found ways to directly and impactfully make those connections between ourselves and our science department as well, ultimately. And we start with the characters, we work our way through conflict, and then we do plotting and writing out the actual fables together. So we design and create the different attributes of the characters, pick a certain conflict within an ecosystem, and how to find ways to develop that exposition into rising action, a climax of conflict, falling action, and ultimately resolution. We have vocabulary, so we're all speaking the same language together. The development of the ecosystem, what kind of conflict are we going to see present? What's the setting look like? How is my audience going to react to this? We want to have a positive reaction, right? From ultimately that road of trials and tribulations, we want to take our readers somewhere where they find resolution and a moral to the story and have that message of resilience and impactfulness. There's examples that are present within our curriculum that tie it directly to the live oak and the wind and showcases how this can be done with examples to educators and students. This was a lot of fun to write, and it was a lot of fun to design with our mentors at Duke and our students there. And really, it's so fun to have it look nice, you know? It's one way to start it as an idea, but to really see it come full-fledged out here, it's very rewarding. And it's so fun to develop and design it with your students, and your students show you ways you never thought possible to use these tools. There we are with the plot diagram. And you have access to that as well. And ultimately writing your fable. So that was a part of the curriculum I helped design with Betsy and Ann this summer. Speaking of, it's a flexible curriculum, and there's so many ways to work with other educators and other students and get out of that comfort zone and really grow as a life learner yourself and be there on the front lines and growing and developing with your students and your community. It fosters imagination. It encourages play, right? Storytelling, outdoor activities, nature walks. Oh, happy Earth Day, by the way. Resilience tools and technological advancements in the classroom. I've been playing and toying around with AI since Paul has inspired me, and that's been a lot of fun in the classroom. Collaborations, opportunities out the wazoo. I'm working on music right now, art, elementary students. We're reaching out and we're growing our departments and developing our community to really showcase what we have to offer the world. Our students are capable of so much more than an EOG test, and we really need to home in and celebrate our talents of our students and what they have to offer. That's how you get the best classroom. That's how you get the best results. All right, I got to play a little bit of this. I know I don't have a lot of time left, but this is so sweet. This is Ollie the Orca, Betsy's students.
By Lala McCarthy, based on the Fable by Amy Buffalo, presented by Lala, Evelyn, Bo, Parker, Maya, Chloe, Maisie.
And I know we're cutting on time here, but you got to see some of these guys here. Look at these kiddos taking the fables, embodying the characters, bringing them to life.
All right, easy peasy. Ollie slapped his face like he saw the old one. And had his nose. Ollie wasn't strong enough. Why won't it move? Ollie did a couple secret things. Now he knew what Owen did. He can't get food without his hard milling him. He needed food, and suddenly Ollie felt tired and weak, so he swam away to feed him.
I love the floating motion. So cool. So much heart, so much passion. And that's a pretty big, ambitious project, which is fantastic. And you have those breakthrough moments where your students like, I never even thought that was possible. But it doesn't even have to be that big. It could be as tiny as one-on-one reads with students that normally don't like to read or just are a little shy or that's not how they look cool at school. Taking them into a different environment with younger students and sharing these tales of resilience coming from a big kid as a little kid, that's very inspiring and inspirational. So there's so many ways you can do it. Public service announcements, stop motion. There's so many different ways to artistically express yourself in the classroom. Another friend of mine and a fellow is doing a Living with Water project, Ann Kelly. I love this quote here. In the end, we will only conserve what we love. We will only love what we understand. We will only understand what we are taught. So true. So true. She's been designing digital journals with her students for a Living Water project. And what does it mean to live on the water? and really getting personal testimonies from students. And this can be done with any region in the world, right? Really, like, what is your connection to your immediate environment and geography? And how does that shape and mold you? And really getting personal testimony and reflective writing from your students allows their voice to be heard and gives them that positive affirmation to be seen as a student and a part and a pillar of the community themselves. Allowing a matrix of choice, stories, creating projects, right? This could be like is a beautiful billboard outside of your hallway, right? Or making podcasts yourself, or designing games. There's this Sandy the Snail game that Anne's kids made that is just incredible, that they 3D printed the characters, and it's kind of like Chutes and Ladders, but it's all with the nature characters and designs. It's so cool, so cool. And not only sharing this with your community in your classroom, but taking it outside of your region and classroom as well. And you can share this with others. After that horrific hurricane that our friends experienced in Western Carolina, we met with the Mountain Heritage High School with our other fellow Sarah Laws and Burnsville, North Carolina. And we shared this program with the teachers in Western Carolina after they experienced that horrific natural disaster. And they were really appreciative to be heard and be seen and to be understood. Um, not all disasters are the same. Actually, they're quite different, but we all are affected emotionally and physically by this and seeing each other suffer. So it's so important to band together and see that we can survive. We are testimonies of that, surviving hurricanes, and we were more than happy to share our lessons of resilience with them and hopefully have helped them. They're going to be coming back to our summer institute at the Duke University Marine Labs, where we will further develop this program together. So that has been quite a blessing to have those moments of connections. All righty. Oof. Okay, I'm cutting it close. I really want to do this activity. This is my favorite activity. Carrie, is it okay? Okay, okay. I love this one. And then I'll fly through the end with you. We have more to come. Okay. This is called Hello Hands. This is my favorite activity. I do this a lot with my students. This activity helps students practice the resilience roots of self-awareness and self-regulation by allowing students to sense energy levels in their bodies and help them focus their attention on discharging energy access. Make sure to give students the sensation feeling word handout with the introduction of this booklet and help them verbalize their feelings. I will share that mood meter with you later, Carrie. All right. Note, there are 3 rounds and each round has a different focus. Round 1, have the students rub their hands together quickly and warming them up for 5 to 10 seconds. I like to do a clap when we do this, so we're going to clap on 3 and then rub our hands together for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And it's so cool when you hear 30 of those pops going at the same time. Okay, stop. Have your students notice the sensation in their hands. I like to have them put their hands up, palms up. Think about where the energy is going in the room. Think about the dissipation of that energy and where is it going? Right, in about 10 seconds, you bring your students back and we're going to do it again. 3, 2, 1. 4, 5, and palms up. Close your eyes. Think about your breathing. Are you breathing? Are you hearing your heart rate? Is it fast or slow? My energy is going up to the top of the ceiling here. All right. One more time. 3, 2, 1. All right, hands up. Think about our energy collecting together at the top of the ceiling, focusing on connectiveness. There we go. Very good. Thank you. it's so important to see how we impact our environment and allowing that energy to fill a room together and coexist together really reacclimates your students to be all on the same page. And this is a great team building activity to do. And I love doing it regularly. It's a lot of fun. And I really see my students enjoy it as well. So thank you. All righty. The big finale, puppets. My goodness gracious, there I could talk for a whole hour on puppets, but I do not have the time, unfortunately. We took our lessons and tales of resilience for our Ready Set Resilience program and worked with Dr. Tori at the theater program of Duke, who has a PhD in puppetry, and developed and designed these beautiful puppets. And got to work with them in professional puppeteering classes together. There's Betsy Ann and me just having a blast. We had so much fun at this workshop and really allowing us to be extensions of our story. And it gives us the freedom to share more, and especially our students. If they're not comfortable embodying the characters, they can vicariously promote them and present them and their ideas as the puppet. And this is that defense of masking, right? And allowing us to have that one part separated from our characters to really allow the emotion to come out. And there's so many different ways to do it. We did shadow puppets, we did finger puppets, we did professional puppets. So much fun.
Let's get back to the mangroves, where our dear Gilbert has now lived for over a year.
Ooh, yes. Yes, we were very impressed with their presentation and worked on developing and designing our own shadow boxes and then taking these little ideas that we had and giving them over to our students, where we showcase them with the Broad Creek Middle School's Ready Set Resilience Club now. We have a club now at our school, and we took them to the Durham Museum of Life and Science with Duke, and we allowed them to put on their own performance at this event. Absolutely incredible. They did so many cooler things than I could imagine. They wrote their own story and Fable of Resilience and directed their own scripts and put on their own shadow puppets. This is all 100% done by students.
Thank you for coming out. My name is Kate Counseling with the Ready Set Resilience team, which is all of these here. From Broad Creek Middle School, way out in Carteret County, which is a 3-hour drive.
Way out in Carteret County. This just allows students to come together, band together, share, have that mentorship role. This is a poetry station that we created with coloring sheets where our students made their own poems of resilience and then share coloring sheets with other students. And as they colored, they got to read their own poems to them and then share them on idea walls. And then just be in nature. This was a butterfly atrium there. And just experience things they wouldn't normally experience at Broad Creek Middle School. We have a lot to offer, but to really get outside of your comfort zone and be inspired, that's good learning. This was a surprise puppet presentation that Duke gave us to our students that I'm working on a lot of new ideas with. They always have a way to surprise me. Community, that's what this is about. This is about being a community, being stronger together, being our personal best, and sharing that best with others. We always like to end on 3 good things. So if you have something good that you would like to share in the chat, something that maybe inspired you today, we'd love to hear about it. Please keep in touch. We have a list of contact information here. These are amazing people, strong educators that are ready to jump in there and help you. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, we're here to listen, and we're here to grow together as lifelong educators. So please feel free to email me. My door is always open to you. I have an open classroom door. I could take the door right off the classroom. You're welcome to walk in at any time. How you might use this, we have access handout links here. QR codes, feel free to use them. We want to help, we want to inspire, we want you to join us in this movement of making us strong and resilient together as North Carolinians. And love for you to take a little bit of time, fill out the survey. Just some feedback would be greatly appreciated, how we can be our best for you and give you the best product possible. So We greatly appreciate your time. And this is why we do it. This was the face of a little dude right there watching our students' puppet performance. And as he went to get up and leave, he said, I love the puppets. And I just turned into a puddle of a person. So amazing, so impactful. That's why we do what we do. That's why we're educators, and just see our best future together. Earth Day. Thank you, Anne. Julie, thank you. Yes. Spring and Friends. So great. Great. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for this opportunity to share what we've been working on, and I'm so excited to share the more that is to come, because it is coming. And we are so happy to be working with you with our Ready Set Resilience team. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rob, for sharing your expertise and the expertise of your colleagues and the work that you guys created together. And thank you to all of you participants for joining us and participating in these activities with us tonight. We are recording the session, so we'll send out a recording of this. And we will also send the link of the PDFs that I shared with you when I send out the recording. So you'll have all of the materials that Rob has shared tonight. So again, thank you so much for spending an hour with us after a long day of work. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. And and I shared the survey link in the chat. So if you would, please give us that survey, or fill out that survey, give us feedback. It really does help us improve our work, but it also helps us. You have an opportunity to share any ideas for future Not Your Average PD session. So if there's a topic you're really interested in that you want to hear from us about, let us know and we will try to make that happen. So thank you so much. Have a great evening.